I think I would remember that. After I birthed you, clothed you. You're overreacting. Well, I'm sorry if you feel like that. I didn't have a perfect childhood. See me just walking around complaining and being super unhealthy about it. I never said that. You're making that up.
I think that as parents, specifically millennial parents, we need to come to the realization that our parents didn't have the emotional intelligence to teach us emotional intelligence or to teach us how to regulate our emotions, and instead they just beat our. So now when we have kids, we're regularly triggered by them because we have all this new technology and social media apps where there are professionals telling us not to beat our kids up. We feel triggered when our kids do certain things because we would never do those certain things because we would get our beat. And I think that we need to reconcile the fact that our children are behaving that way because they have parents that have more resources that are not just jumping to beat their ass. If beating your child's ass worked, you wouldn't have to do it more than once.
Yo, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amaya and welcome back to Amaya's Unsolicited Opinions. Today we're going to be talking about emotionally immature parenting and what inspired me to make this video along with my own parents is the current pink toe lid moment trend that's going on TikTok. Today's video will be split up into what pink toe lid moments are, what is emotionally immature parenting, and I will be adding in my own pink toe lid moments at the end of the video. So let's get right into it.
I wanted to explain a phenomenon that happens in some traumatized families that I don't hear talked about a lot. And that is when you grew up with emotionally immature parents, the parents were treated like the children and the children were treated like the parents. So we hear a lot about how in these families, children are expected to take care of their parents, to manage their parents' emotions and volatility, and to also take care of their younger siblings. But it goes further than this. When you grew up with emotionally immature parents in a traumatized family system, children are treated as though their needs and their emotions don't matter, and that the parents' needs and emotions are the only ones that matter. And when the children do have needs and emotions, sometimes the parents will attribute that to emotional manipulation. Oh, you're not really hungry, you're just trying to manipulate me. Children don't do that. They see their parents as gods, and they don't emotionally manipulate. If they are not acting correctly, it's because they're incapable of doing so at that time. Either they have a dysregulated nervous system or something else is up. And it's a sign of abuse if a parent thinks that a child is manipulating them, or that a child's needs or will or self-expression is some sort of spite on the parent. This attitude existed in my family system, and it was never overtly or expressly said to me. But the reason I know that attitude is alive and well in our family is because every time I have had a child around me, or even a pet, or something that is perceived to be weaker than me, I have this irritation about it. How dare you have needs? How dare you be loud? How dare you be a problem to deal with?
So you may be asking, what are pink toe lid moments and how did this trend start? Recently on TikTok, this girl had posted a video of her crying in the bathroom after an interaction with her parents where her mother had asked her to go find these pink toe lids in the house, and when she could not find them, instead of being an emotionally mature parent and, you know, trying to help her find it or finding it herself, the mother basically explodes on her daughter, and it creates an interaction between the mother and the father and the daughter.
So I'm in the shower and I get out and I am drying my hair and my mom comes and bangs on the door like this, like that on the door. So I'm like, what? And she goes, she's like, you want to have a 5-day, go to sleep, I need help. Okay. So I hurry up and I get dressed and I get out and I'm like, Mom, what do you need help with? And she goes, I need you to put the pink things in my room. I look around and I'm like, I repeat what she said. I said, pink things? She looks at me like this. And then she said, JC, I need you to put the pink toe lids in my room. The pink toe lids, are you dumb? You said pink things. Do you know how vague that is? And so I said that, and then my dad comes running out like, who are you talking to? You should never fucking talk back to me. They're both just going off on me. They don't like.
And this video ends up going viral on TikTok with a lot of people resonating with the girl's experience in the comment section, which then starts a trend where people get on the app and talk about their personal pink toe lid moments, which are basically people sitting down talking about the most traumatic experiences they've been through simple interactions they've had with their parents.
I was beaten for a week straight for letting my best friend borrow a game that I bought, and this is my pink tote story.
He beat me so bad that day, I didn't have to go back to school for the rest of Regents Week. He didn't send me.
I didn't understand what a pink tote moment was until I watched that video, and as I was watching that video, I realised like my entire childhood was filled with pink tote moments as well, because yeah, it's crazy.
Due to this being so popularized, it really shines a large light on the fact that it is normalized in society for parents to behave and act in a way that is emotionally immature. And I really see it coming up now as, people are continuing to reproduce and recreate and baby mama and baby daddy culture is increasing, and people are just having children out of wedlock, just having children at random times, not considering the fact that they are not together mentally or financially for a child to be properly loved and taken care of. It's created a lot of broken people who've needed help and never got it, or people who've continued to, further the cycle of emotional immaturity within the family. Because I've noticed that emotionally immaturity just doesn't start from your parents. Like, it's like a generational thing, and somebody needs to, stop that generational curse, which is why I'm here. But the biggest question is, what creates emotionally immature parent, and how can you identify if your parent is emotionally immature or not? I would say what creates an emotionally immature parent is, for some reason, the millennials and people above that were raised with this emotionless, very much a lot of stuff lacking list parenting, where people were not, putting enough time and effort or having children because of the fact that they were told they were supposed to have children, and not because they were ready to have children or having children out of love, which created a generation of parents who not only, had their own traumas and their own issues, but they also continued that cycle of parenting where they thought like, oh, well, I'll just be, I'll go to college, I'll go to school, or I won't go to college or go to school, and I'll just get pregnant and have the kids. Here's my little family, not thinking about the mental implications that comes with being a parent. And one of the first things that you have to do when you are a parent and becoming a good parent is really digging down deep into what's wrong with me, even if you don't know what that is, and going to therapy and getting that self-work done, so that when the child comes into this earth and becomes a human being, you know exactly what's wrong with you, and you know exactly how to parent correctly and what you need to change about yourself to become a good parent. Now, what I would say are signs of an emotionally immature parent: one, they do not hold themselves accountable, not one bit.
A subtle sign of emotional abuse is when a person, a whole family, or a whole system repeatedly acts like nothing happened after they've mistreated you. If you bring up what hurt you, suddenly you're the problem, or you're shamed for not moving on. This normalizes dysfunction, keeping you quiet, isolated, and second-guessing your feelings, even when something truly hurtful has happened. It's a tactic to keep everything hidden and maintain control. And over time, it can leave you feeling invisible, gaslit, and like you're the one who has to carry all the pain in silence. But we know ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. You're not too sensitive for feeling hurt. Your feelings are real and they're valid.
I'm starting to enter my 20s. Obviously, there's times come up where I'm bringing up stuff that's happened in my childhood to my parents, and I've done that a few times. And each time, I don't know why this is a thing, because I've looked online. Like, a lot of black parents do this thing where they you bring something up and they say, oh, I didn't whoop you for everything. Oh, but I really didn't do that. That really never happened. Or try to flip the situation on you, that you made them do whatever action. And, as time goes on, I'm starting to notice this is clearly a sign of emotional immaturity, because as I become an adult, when somebody brings up something that I've done to them to hurt them or make them feel less than, my initial response is not to become defensive and completely deny anything that happened and act like it didn't happen. My initial response is to take in what they're saying and improve on myself as a human being. But I've noticed in a lot of emotionally immature people, they don't even have the capacity to grow as a human. For some reason, they're stuck in a child's mind. So that's how they behave. Now, another sign is the parents always say, I didn't grow up perfectly. I didn't grow up with a handbook. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect as a parent. You're right. But these people use this as an excuse when they do something wrong or disrespectful to their child, and you simply ask them a question, or you simply address them on something that they did completely wrong or completely traumatized you as a child, and they'll say, parenting didn't come with a handbook. Being a child doesn't come with a handbook either. You have more years on the earth than me to figure yourself out and get yourself positioned into a place where you can become a good parent. I've just come in this earth to become a human being. So that will never be a good enough excuse for me. I would say my last biggest sign is they believe they deserve a reward for the bare minimum, for being a parent. Anytime I have had a argument, or I have said or done something that my parents did not like, they always bring up the fact that they bathed me, they clothed me, they put a roof over my head. I should not ask for anything else, this and that. And it's just like, I don't deserve the bare minimum as a human being. So please stop trying to bring that mess to me. I do not deserve the bare minimum as a human being. I'm not accepting the bare minimum as a human being. So please stop trying to use that excuse. So it's come to the point where they've used that excuse to the point where they know that it doesn't even work anymore. I just sit up and look like, okay, what are you? I mean, there's parents that do that every day and don't complain about that. You're saying that you clothed and you bathed me, but you also contributed to my trauma. So
Black parents felt like I was born in this world on survival mode hard.
So many Black parents need to decolonize their parenting strategies, because a lot of the parenting strategies, especially the ones that use violence, both physical and emotional, stems from slavery. There's so much generational trauma within the Black household. And I love that I'm seeing younger generations of Black people interrogate that a lot more with their children. I think a lot of older generations obviously knew that this world hates Black people. And so their instinct was to go into tough love, which didn't even feel like love, it's just abuse, because I thought that it would give us better survival in the real world. Also, they were just trying to survive themselves in this world that hates Black people. I've been thinking about this a lot this past week, but growing up, like, I did not get love, obviously. It more so felt like I was living with like two coworkers who were above me in their position, and they didn't get love from their parents, and then their parents didn't get love from their parents. So what did I expect? A lot of y'all need to decolonize yourself before you go out here having kids.
So obviously I'm not gonna talk about like specific pink tote moments, because even in the small TikTok videos, those videos take so much time. And if I get into any of my pink tote lid moments, not only will I be reliving trauma, I'll probably crash out on camera. You'll probably get a live crash out, and the video will probably be like 3 hours long of me going through 50 different emotions. So I'm just gonna briefly talk about ways that I noticed that I had emotionally immature parents as a child. My number one, I'm the oldest daughter. My parents expected me to watch my siblings. My parents held me accountable for stuff that my siblings would do. My parents treated me like a third parent. To this day, they act like they don't, but anytime my siblings do something wrong and I don't say anything about it, or I don't do anything about it, or, you know, since I'm entering my 20s now, and I've just basically realized like my siblings aren't my responsibility, other adults aren't my responsibility. I'm a 20-year-old. I'm only accountable for myself. So when I don't react to my siblings tearing up the house or being disobedient, my parents will come up to me and say, well, why didn't you do anything about your siblings behaving in this way, and why didn't you discipline them in this way, and this and that? And it's just like, babe, are you not the parent? Why are you treating me as if I'm the parent? And they all that smoke that they have for me when it comes to my siblings, it's non-existent. Another thing I noticed is, like, as a child, I was getting whooped for anything. Any way I was an inconvenience to my parents, any way I made them upset, I was getting whooped. And I have so many childhood memories of literally being whooped. I don't even remember why. I don't even remember why, but I just remember that as a child, I would be so afraid, like, anything that I would do wrong, any way I would upset my parents, it actually scared me to get in trouble in school or to get in trouble with other adults at daycare, or like, you know, just outside, because I knew, like, if somebody told my parents they're not going to listen to me, they're not going to sit down and have a conversation with me, they're not going to figure out why I act the way I act, they're not going to put me in therapy, they're just going to whoop me. And what I've also noticed is this behavior is only targeted to me. As far as my other siblings, my parents don't do any of that. They don't have any of that smoke for my siblings now. My siblings do not listen to them at all. Like, they do not listen at all. And all my parents would do is complain. All they do is nag. It's no whoopings. It's no discipline. But as a child, I was getting degraded for simply behaving in ways that my parents wouldn't want me to, or even just being a child and doing childlike stuff. Like, I was honestly just getting whooped for that, and I just never understood why. You know what I'm saying? And I would say another determining factor that I just knew that my parents were emotionally immature is the fact that, you know, now as I am becoming an adult, when I ask them or hold them accountable for not having certain things together as an adult, as I watch other kids my age have things together and their parents have things in place for them, so that when it's time for them to leave and time for them to, you know, start their journey off with being an adult, they have stuff set up where life isn't that hard. My parents don't have that. So when I talk to them about stuff like that, they'll try to push the situation on me, and I'll be talking to one parent and it'll turn into two parents ganging up on me, or I'll be talking to one parent and then that conversation is over and people try to act like everything is okay, and then the other parent comes and starts like trying to belittle me and make me seem crazy because I'll ask questions like, why is it that you expect me to move out but haven't taught me anything needed, any financial information, nothing set up for me to succeed in life? You just want me to leave and figure it out like you did? And clearly you didn't figure it out, because here we are. I'm making a video about emotionally immature parents. But yeah, that was it for this video. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe, and have a beautiful day.
My hope is fun like